account, will you say no to it? Correct, lakhs of amount is getting credited to your account, will you say no to it? I mean, like your earning capability increases from 50,000 per month to 2 lakhs per month. Will you say no to it?
No, you can accept.
That is acceptable and that is best for you. The performance is very good. Okay, and we were assessing how is the load time of any website. If you have a website, you can use this tool called tools.pingdom.com. Tools.pingdom.com, right? Different load times, different page sizes. So this page size has to come down, this load time has to come down, the number of requests has to come down somewhere around 55, 65, 70, right? Yesterday we also discussed how do we bring down this page size. Okay, so quickly let's brainstorm that part as well. We are going to compress the images, we are going to implement CSS sprites, we are going to set the expiry headers. Expiry headers start storing that, sorry, not website, your browser will start holding that information. If any user is coming back to your website again from the same browser, so it will not go to the server, the request will not go to the server, the content will load directly from the browser. Okay, and then we also discussed z-zipping the content. Z-zip. So in the htaccess file, we are adding a z-zip piece of code that is going to compress the content and send it to the browser so that the content will be, I mean, rendered very quickly to your browsers. Are you all following? We not have no proper understanding. The website developers will not pay attention to it. And was a new connection forms. A new connection forms. Yesterday we discussed with this with the example of bus. Transport system. A bus can carry only 100 passengers. Sorry, 50 passengers at a time, right? And now if there are 2 more passengers, what happens? Just for these 2 people, you have to have an additional bus. Correct? It's taking so much of resources, so much of effort again, correct? But we discussed in India that's acceptable again, not 2, even if it is 20 or 50, again squeezing them, squeeze all of them in the same bus. But that won't happen here. Servers are very strict. They are not as lenient as our Indian government or we. Okay, correct? Right? And automatically this performance, if you improve the load, improving the load times. Okay. Yeah. So we were yet to get started with this. Yeah. Anybody has questions?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Yesterday you told that if you improve the page performance, we have to reduce the page size.
Yeah.
If you realize.
Okay. See, what is your understanding about image size? Image size, you mean from a 20 feet tall cutout to 2 feet cutout? That's what you're understanding when I say reduce the size.
No.
What is image size reduction? Reducing the image size as per you.
There will be a raise, I think, size range for the image. In the title, there will be character size like 750 word.
No, yesterday I told you, yeah, image, yesterday I told image, try to keep it less than 50 KB. Image size is not height and width of the image. Height and width of the image would remain same. The size in terms of the data it takes, how many MB is the image? 1 MB. And it is very heavy. And it is suggested to have less than 50 KB. Correct?
Okay.
So when you reduce that size from 1 MB to, it can be reduced. 1 MB to 50 MB, it can be reduced, or maybe 100 KB, 1 MB to 50 KB or 1 MB to 100 KB can be reduced till it is 1/10 of the actual size. From 1 MB to 100 KB is 1/10 of the actual size of the image. Image clarity can be there. See, it's just like that. Sometimes the images will be very heavy. They all can be optimized. A movie, 10 GB movie, sometimes you will get it in 1 GB. Correct? Sometimes there are chances that the quality might get spoiled. It might get destroyed. Right? So, but that's not the usual case. It may not happen always. The quality might remain same. The sound volume would remain same. Your MP4 file quality would remain same. Sometimes when it is brought down from 10 GB to 2 GB, still it would remain the same. Negligible differences. Correct? There are chances that size, the quality might take a hit. But what is needed here for us? Here there are tools, just Google. I showed you yesterday, I showed to all of you, googling and showed all of you how do you reduce the size of the images. Just reduce compress image, reduce the size of the image. You google it and you will find so many image compressors. And there is a plugin, if you are a WordPress website, there is a plugin to compress the images, and you can install that plugin for the WordPress. Okay, and automatically your images would get optimized. And some of the things that which we are discussing are also uh, there are plugins. There are so many plugins which you can use to optimize your WordPress website. See, there are always two methods to optimize your WordPress website. One is you can use plugins, and second thing is you can add pieces of code manually to your htaccess file. And certain things you can do it manually. So something like this. So if you're uploading an image to your WordPress website today, make sure that you are uploading it by compressing it. Go to some tool, compress image, use compress, reduce image size, compress JPEG. So this will reduce the size of the image, compress JPEG images. Select up to 20 JPG or JPEG images from your device or drag files to top, wait for the compression to finish. So reduce the file size. You see here, reduce the file size of many JPG images at once online. So while uploading up by 80%, reduce by up to 80%. So you compress it and you upload to the WordPress website. If it is already uploaded, what is happening? So you can manually do them or you can rely on plugins. That's what this article is also about. I have already pasted this for all of your reference.
So we can, for the WordPress, we can use the plugin, and rest of the site we need to use the tool.
No. Even for WordPress website, you can add you can add piece of code in the htaccess file. I was showing it to all of you yesterday. htaccess file, you can add a piece of code to htaccess file.
Oh.
Whether it is WordPress website or custom built website, you can always instruct through htaccess file, right?
Okay.
So if you think htaccess file is a bit technical for you, or you get confused with it, or you don't know much about servers, hosting and all, or you don't have access to your backend websites, not backend, websites hosting. So in those scenarios, you log into your WordPress website and install a plugin, website optimization. You just go to plugin section and now search for website optimization, website SEO, compress images. So you will get to see different kinds of plugins. So for all them, pick the best plugin, right? There are good chances that these plugins might lead to some conflict or might impact your current website also. Okay. So I'll just read this. WordPress websites optimized for speed do miracles as they help the business owners and the webmasters to achieve their goals. And meanwhile, the unoptimized WordPress websites have put them in trouble for decades together. And finally, they decide to rely less on the internet presence for their business. You know, just this one blocker has given an impression to the business owners. Okay, I should not rely on digital marketing. They'll do offline marketing. They'll rely on many other sources of marketing for their business. And they'll tell, no, we are not getting anything from the internet. Why they will not get anything? Because there is a blocker. Their website performance is a big blocker. Correct? Don't ever get into this problem of concluding that the website is not helping to get the business by owning an unoptimized WordPress website. If you have to see your business progressing through its internet presence, optimize it right today by following this simple guide. And I do use this to optimize my WordPress website. This was written by me in 2018, I guess. Okay. So WordPress performance optimization is an art that not everybody can understand until they have exposure to WordPress platform. Are you listening this sentence? Not everybody can understand until they have an exposure to WordPress platform. That's the reason I'm suggesting all of you to start working on WordPress websites. Start using this Pingdom tools.pingdom.com and try to understand what is that. Make note of this. There is something called as Y slope, not WHY. It's just Y, alphabet Y, alphabet Y SLOW .org. Okay. So here this website explains too many things about the website's performance and terminologies related to it. That can be a very good guide for you to understand better on the website's optimization. Anyways, we are discussing all of them here, but still you can anytime you can refer to it whenever needed. Okay, I mean hands-on working on WordPress by any chance. If you're not comfortable, you can always opt WordPress speed optimization services from any of the WordPress website developers. Wondering how to optimize WordPress site for your SEO? Seems to be like you have realized the importance. Okay, blah blah, etc. Importance of optimizing the WordPress website. Look at this: improves load times, and thereafter improvement in the following. What is the improvement? Load time improves user metrics, user experience and user engagement, conversion rates, and SEO progress. Your website will start ranking for too many keywords on Google. That is one advantage. Sales, from 100 people you are getting only 5 sales, now it becomes 10 sales from the same 100 people, right? User experience and user engagement will improve, and this will again improve the rankings of your website. Website will rank for more keywords naturally. Your website must be ranking for only 10,000 keywords, and it will start ranking for 50,000 keywords. Okay, do you all know how will this improve? So if you are improving website performance, the crawl rate will improve. Crawl rate is improving, crawl frequency of so many web pages will improve. We discussed this yesterday also. And they'll start showing up on the Google. To improve the keyword rankings or average position of already ranking keywords. If your keyword is ranking in 10th position, it might make progress to 5th position or 3rd position or 2nd position. Right? You would see an improvement in rankings of the keywords. Right? To avoid unwanted traffic to the servers and thereafter bring down the server expenses. If a user is coming back again to your website, you have a better method where the traffic can be where the files can be sent from the browser to the user. We are instructing browser to hold a copy of some of the files, and they'll be served directly from the browser, and that way traffic to the servers will come down and you don't have to spend much on it. Improve the crawl rate of the website in order to achieve the maximum from the SEO efforts. We have discussed this yesterday, and now also this is nothing but crawl rate here also. So what you should be avoiding: poor WordPress hostings. Don't go for WordPress hosting plans. See, have a plan that gives you full control of your website. WordPress hostings will not give you that kind of control. So it's suggested not to go with the WordPress hosting plans. You go with the normal plan and you set up your server. You install your WordPress application. Many service providers don't have the right WordPress packages. They trap you or deceive you, claiming that the website would do great on their WordPress hosting, perform well, load quickly, good CPUs, etc., just to grab the attention of the business owners. They're coming up with this filthy schemes. Okay, always go for a normal server with good RAM and storage and build your WordPress websites. Don't ever prefer the poor WordPress hosting plans. Okay, query strings. Remove query strings in WordPress. So when you are doing a WordPress website, so there is something called as query strings in the URLs. At the end of the URL, a question mark gets attached automatically. Okay, or ampersand gets attached automatically to the URLs. This is not compulsorily happening for all the websites, but it might happen to your web pages. Bots might see those kinds of pages. Query strings are the multiple versions of the original URLs or resource files, either contain question mark or ampersand in them, and these kinds of URLs are usually not cacheable and would send unnecessary requests to the server for every time they have to serve or render a web page. So to avoid this query parameters, the query parameters have to be removed from the URL, and to do this in the WordPress, you can follow one of the approaches. Install the WP cache or any other plugin that can remove query strings. See here, I am suggesting install a plugin called WP cache. My personal suggestion: I don't use any plugin for removing the query strings, and you can simply follow the method explained in type 2. Remove query strings manually by adding a piece of code like this. You see, remove query string from static resources. This, if you search on Google, remove query strings from static resources, I think this is available here on this website also. This one all selected. piece of information. Yeah, you just have to copy paste from here and you have to add this to your ht access file, and that will ensure the query strings will get removed associated with your URLs.
So,
Yeah.
what is the difference between we are adding the code and plugin? Will any page size will be increasing?
Yes, yes. So, see, plugins will come with some amount of their. See, plugin is giving you an interface, enable, disable options, and so many other options. All these also are nothing but program, piece of code. You are unnecessarily bringing in piece of code. Plugins also will have colors for you interface sections. You are unnecessarily bringing in so much amount additional code along with this. See, that plugin just contains this, and along with this, it has given you an option to enable, disable, activate, deactivate, and update. Plugins update also it has, right?
Every
And
function.
moreover, there are chances of plugins getting into conflict with other plugins. They come with not only the functionality, they come with piece of Java, piece of CSS and HTML as well, which is not needed. Additional CSS and HTML is not needed for your website,
Oh,
but that will be negligible, right? So if you have a better alternative is, if you understand all of this, you can just copy paste a piece of code on your HT access file,
oh,
okay, and that will fix. If you think that's complex, you just go with a plugin. Yeah.
and the same thing we can follow further reduce the images also, right?
Yes.
Code.
Zip, yeah. So there are some WP Rocket, WP Cache, something auto optimize, these kinds of plugins, which will help you to compress the images or zip the content and couple of other functionalities,
Okay.
whichever
Instead
we
of
have
that, we
discussed
can use the
yesterday.
code.
Instead of that, we can use the code. I'm going to walk you through that code as well now. Okay. So for your answer, so here is the solution. Plugins, which typically may impact the performance of your web pages, sometimes with more HTTP requests to the server. You can simply place this code in the functions.php. This is not htaccess actually. This is to be pasted in the functions.php file of your WordPress, and that would automatically remove the query strings from the URL, so that now all the URLs will be cacheable by the browsers, and therefore no unwanted request to the server, and hence the speed improves. Okay. So now URLs with question mark won't get cached. That's the problem. Now when you add this piece of code, URLs with question mark also will get cached by the browsers. It's not playing a big crucial role, but this will help improve the performance. URLs with query strings are unnecessary requests to the server, and they would slow down the speed of the web pages. Yeah, zip the files through HT access file. See, for this also you will have the plugin, right? Sending a heavy file through the HTTP would take a lot of bandwidth for the user and for the server, and in turn would impact the load times. You must have seen sometimes when you attach some file, it automatically zips the file. It zips the file and it sends to the end user. Okay. So, so now what is important now here? There are n number of plugins to do this, but then this is not a recommended. That's not a recommended method, and hence you can follow the simple approach, which is also implemented on the websites. Code that goes in the .ht access file. You can simply copy this and put it on .ht access file, and it starts zipping the content. And second is enable the cache on the .ht access file. We discussed this one also yesterday. By enabling the cache, you will be avoiding the unwanted traffic or load to the server. Logo, which can be saved, it's a static file which can be saved by the browser, and for returning users, it serves directly from the browser instead of sending that request to the server. There are many such things. You can just incorporate the below code in the htaccess file and save it, and rest will be taken care with a small piece of this code, right? Don't use plugins for enabling the cache of the content. Usually these plugins will be very heavy and impact the load times of the website severely. So prefer this manual method of doing this through htaccess file.
Um, for this code, what location we need to
htaccess file.
steer?
htaccess file, which we discussed yesterday. I showed it to you all. See, if you are using, so on your control panel, when you go to your server in your wherever you are hosting your website, there will be .ht access file. A file will be saved with the extension .ht access file, right? So this ht access file basically it's like settings of your mobile phone. Through the settings you control the brightness, colors, wallpapers, screens, sound, so many things, right? Same way it's a control that helps you to take control over certain functionalities of your website. Yesterday when we discussed this, I'll show it to you all once again. For every website you will have such file. Configuration file is different and ht accesses .ht accesses. I don't know the extension .ht access, but that's basically giving a control or that's going to instruct your complete website servers how they should be functioning. Guys, everybody following it? Are you all following this, understanding this?
Yes.
Facing difficulty to understand? Because all this for most of you are the first time. You are coming across all of this for the first time. Even the purpose you are coming across for the first time. Not just about the ways of fixing it. Where is my website now? My website is public underscore HTML. This is where my websites will be. Correct? And now let me go to one of the website. Okay, my one of my website is sitting here only outside. Right? Look at this HT access file. Oh, this has redirection low. I'll show you the other one.
Is recording. We can go to.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let me take you to this website. .ht. See, this website files are all in this folder, kandrafoods.com. All the files are within this folder, and .ht access is one, admin.php error index. There are so many functions.php. Right now, we are interested in ht access. Take a look at this. See here, a piece of code has been added. This is zipping, and this is setting up the cache expiry headers. These two are important now. These two are added based on this learning. Okay. See, for every website, you will have the ht access file.
Yeah.
Okay. You just have to go to the ht access file. I'll show you another website. ht access file will be dummy. Like recently, we all created march.kandradigital.com for you all to practice. Correct? Go through this. Go to this ht access. There won't be anything.
So not only for the WordPress.
See now, yeah. For any website, not only for WordPress, for any website you can add this. See now in this there is something, but this is not, there is nothing related to cache or nothing related to compressing the content. Now we can do that. So what I'll do is now I will just click on edit. I'll click on edit and from that article. So now I can add that anywhere I want. I'll just start adding it here. I will copy it from here. Since I have it, I'll just zip or are you all getting it? I'll simply add it here. Done. See, you don't have to learn what it exactly does. Even if you search it on internet, zip the content on WordPress websites, or zip the code to add to set the expiry headers on ht access, you will get it, right? And moreover, I have already put all of that in this article, and this article has been put in the notes class already. Okay.
So we can add at any location in the
ht access, yes. But don't interrupt. Don't add somewhere in between. Don't add. See now there are different pieces. This is all regarding one functionality. This is all regarding one functionality. Okay. So now don't click enter here and add it in between. Okay. So be careful about that. Yes, we have saved it.
So FileZilla also we can do the same.
Yes, FileZilla is again. See now Here we came manually and accessing the content through control panel. Your folder can be accessed through control panel. Your content, information, everything can be accessed through control panel, or you can access through FTP, FileZilla, using FileZilla or WinSCP. We have discussed all of this in the initial classes. How do we connect to the servers? How do we access content? How do we upload content to the servers? Correct? Yeah. So next thing is optimize the content, optimize your website content. So to improve the performance, this is another important thing. The content comprises the HTML, CSS, JavaScript and images. You have to optimize HTML, CSS, JavaScript and images, and video, images and video, and in order to have a high performing web pages, you have to make sure the content is all optimized so that the web pages load quickly. There needs to be a clean HTML, CSS and JavaScript without empty spaces, without too many lines of script, so that the script will be very light and loads quickly. Too many external CSS and JSS files will lead to too many HTTP requests. So this one, let me see, a web page is a combination of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and now CSS and JavaScript can be within this page or it can be on separate files like this. This is a JavaScript file. This is a CSS file, right? Now you will have multiple such files, CSS and JavaScript files. So now if this web page has to be rendered, all these pages also has to come together. This is one request, this is one request. Whatever you see here, .css, .js, these are all multiple requests. You don't need so many requests. You can combine multiple CSS to one CSS, multiple JSS to one JS, correct? These are all called as external JS file, external CSS files. Now your practices are such that you have 20 CSS files and 20 JSS files, total 40 requests here only, and you can convert this 40 requests to 5 requests or 2 requests. One CSS file, all CSS we will bring to one CSS file only, and all JSS we will bring to only one JS file. Reduce the number of requests, CSS and JSS requests, in order to render this web page. To render this web page, how many requests are going to the server? See, this is very heavy. There is nothing much, and 3.4 MB size, 85 requests. In this 85 requests, there will be some 10 requests related to CSS JS. So dot CSS,
So
5
request
CSS
means,
files.
so request means it's not a one single person to request, like not like that.
See,
Right?
now in order to send this file or all information, all you see here, all you see here, from your server, this image has to come.
One request.
Yes, one request. This image has to come.
One request.
2 requests now, 3 requests, 4 requests,
Okay, okay.
5 requests, 6 requests,
So
7 requests, 7 images, 7, and 8 images, 8 requests, 9 images, 9 requests, 10 images, 10 requests, 11 images, 11 requests, 12 images. All these are sitting on the server, and from server they have to come here, correct?
yeah.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, and if these are all images, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21 image requests. This web page is combination of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Same way, like for different presentations, different images are there, right? Same way for this layout, there will be one CSS. See, we discussed it in the very initial classes. To beautify your web page, we use CSS. Correct? To beautify this, you must have used one CSS file. To beautify the right side, you must have used one more CSS file. To beautify this top section and all, you have used one more CSS file. That way, there are 5 layers. 20 requests. Now this 20 can be made to only 2 requests. So now how are 20 requests? To make this functional there is one JS file. To make this functional there is one more JS file. JavaScript is used to make your web page interactive or functional. Password is wrong, put a correct username, put a correct email ID. All this happening to JavaScript. Correct? And now all this functionalities, if I'm clicking on this, it's getting shared on social media. There is one more JavaScript file. This way there are 20 JavaScript file. In order to send this one file WordPress speed optimization to your browser, in the background there are how many requests? Total 85 requests. Of this 85 requests, 20 are pertaining to images, 20 are related to images. See, 1.5 MB is image only, 40%, 34 requests. Images are actually 34, not 21. Do you all see that? And script there are 30, CSS there are 3, right? Now this 30 images, 34 images can be made to CSS sprites, and it can be only one image. The moment this becomes only one, there is only one request to the server, and server is also sending only one file to your browser, and the performance will improve.
So this happen through CSS
Sprites.
sprites.
When you implement CSS sprites,
Sprites.
see the thing, but then there is a problem here.
So
See if it is
code we can.
yes CSS, that is says just CSS. See, HTML page is built of HTML. Any web page is built of HTML to present the content, CSS to beautify the content, JavaScript to make your web page interactive or functional. A web page is combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So CSS has given you another options as well, that is called CSS sprites, where you can combine all these 30-40 images to one image, like your Google collage. But then they all will be shown separately here. From the Google collage, first photo is mine, second photo is my brother's, third photo is my sister's, fourth photo is my dad's. But I want to show only my photo from that collage. I have collage only. But from collage, I will pick only one image, first person's, second person's, third person's. This skill, this art, this language which you are using here to present it beautifully, individual images from the combined image is called as CSS sprites.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yesterday we discussed it.
Yeah. So we can use the code.
Yes. So this is something has to be done by your front end developers, front end website developers. As a digital marketer, you won't be able to do it. Okay. Yeah.
So
Yes.
so for the same code we need to put on the HTTPS.
That is not HT access. That will be sitting on your this web page only.
Okay. Sorry, we are creating the CSS spread means so we can't put the HT access, right?
Nothing as such. HT access is different. CSS sprites are different.
Um,
Everything is
I'm
different.
asking the CSS spread code. They have some code, right? CSS spread things have some code. So last time we are putting some gzip file for the code,
That we will be putting on HT access file,
but we
and
can't put.
this one will be sitting on this file only, HTML file only.
So we can't use any plugin for CSS.
I think there are some plugins. I'm not sure. There are plugins, but I don't know how far they'll be using, if they are free or not. But for I think WordPress websites has limited options to fix the CSS sprites. To implement images in CSS sprites, there will be some limitations in WordPress websites. But there is no such limitation. See now, there is no such limitation for custom build websites. So now let's take some other web page. For that, you might probably see a CSS sprites. This page might load better comparatively. Though this page is very big, this page might load quickly. See, let me do it in a new tab to stop. Are you all understanding, everybody? So let me know if you are facing trouble in understanding this. So optimizing the content includes reducing the number of requests, implementing CSS sprites, right? Other method is, if you are on WordPress website, so I suggest to use the light themes and advanced themes. Sometimes the theme builders, the theme developers would have taken care of all of these optimizations.
Oh,
So once example, such example is, I'll walk you through this, you will get an idea. Okay. This is the one, the first best-selling e-commerce theme. This is the one. You just go through the details. Now look at the number of sales. This is one of the popular and best theme. I love this theme. Okay. What have they put here? Mobile and speed optimized. Always up to date. Mobile and speed optimized. You will see all of them here. Flatsum 3.18 improved mini chart. That's quantity reports.
is it e-commerce?
Yes, e-commerce multi-purpose. You can build any kind of websites using this. Now look at this, optimized for speed. With a minimal and optimized code, makes Flatsum one of the fastest WordPress theme on the in the market. Flatsum 98, Google page speed out of 100 it's 98, desktop UX 100 out of 100, mobile UX 100 out of 100. So not every theme seller will assure you this. Not every theme seller will take care of the best front-end development practices. Your website performance also largely depends on front-end code or content optimization. Okay, use light theme and advanced themes. Avoid unwanted plugins and prefer manual edit. We discussed this already. Adding code manually to htaccess file. Simply don't install all the irrelevant plugins, nonsense plugins, and sometimes you must be experimenting something. You will install the plugin and you will leave it like that only. You will not disable it or you will not delete it. If you're not using it, delete it. That's going to impact your website. If you're keeping it active like that only, it's going to impact your website performance. Do not unnecessarily use all the plugins. Keep limited to very few. Some of the best themes which have provisions for customization or update of certain kinds of data such as tracking pixels, sharing buttons, etc. would never create a need for plugins or customization of the code. So see now, see GTM. I'm not sure if you all have heard of tracking websites, Google Analytics, Search Console, GTM, Facebook pixels, Instagram pixels. See now to track how many people are coming to the website. Is that male or female? What is their age group? From which city are they coming? So we can set up the tracking. Okay. So in order to set up this tracking, we have to sign up on some platforms, respective platforms. If it is Facebook, Facebook. If it is in LinkedIn, so and that piece of code has to be added to your website, and that can be manually edited, like how we edited htaccess file. That can be we can edit the header.php file or footer.php file of the website, and we can add those pixels. But people install plugins for all of that. Analytics plugin, add analytics plugin, GTM plugin. What is the necessity? They're simply piling up. Correct.
So that is also need more impact.
That will be impacting your performance, website's performance, right? So for example, simple, we have to add GTM code to the website. We will discuss that thing as well, GTM code. But what people do to just update the GTM code in the header.php file of their website, they will install a plugin. They cannot even edit, understand where to add and how to add. They rely on plugins for every simple thing. They will impact. See, that's what it's been written. Use it in the header.php. See, there are inactive 17 plugins. All delete them. Effective use of plugins multi-site, I'll not discuss. Compress the images or video, we have already discussed. Host the images and videos on CDN. CDN is Content Delivery Network, or maybe something like this. I just there is something called as Cloudflare.
Cloud.
Cloudflare. See, what happens is the request all will go to Cloudflare. Is a content delivery network. Plus images will all be can be uploaded to the Cloudflare. They will not impact your server's performance, right? The images will be rendered from the nearby server. Okay. Suppose
Is it advantage?
yes. So Cloudflare having your images. If your image-rich website If you have too many images, having a Cloudflare and images uploaded over there and rendering from there to your website will help improve the performance of your website. Okay. So yeah, anybody has doubts? No one has any questions? Okay, yesterday we had discussed about the search console as well. How to see the performance of your website. Let me go back there. So this amazing tool, Search Console, Google Search Console, will help you to understand what's happening with your website. Will help you to understand what is the that bot experiencing with your website. So we had discussed earlier about this. This is a tool that establishes communication between the website owner and the bot. If bot is experiencing whatever the experience it is, so bot is going to share it with the website owner. Here you could see that. See, core web vitals, mobile 770 poor urls need improvement with 110 urls, desktop 789 poor urls and 91 needs improvement. Like if you click on this, it shows you what is the problem. Poor LCP, largest content point. LCP is largest content point. Is basically it's the time taken to load any large information on your web page. Your web page is combination of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, images, videos. Of all this, maybe one image could be 10 MB. And what is the time taken to load that images? Largest content point. That's the largest, any largest component. Time taken to load any largest component, we call it as not component, largest content point, is 4 seconds. Ideally, this has to be less than a second. Largest content point has to be less than a second. But here it is 4 seconds. Largest contentful point, how long it takes the page to render the largest visible element. See now what you should be doing as a digital marketer. It's yeah. So now you have to tell to the developer who is building your website, right? So those are the people who will be able to improvise this.
So actually, you told me
Yeah.
just now before for the we can make it the CSS multiple CSS file means
Huh.
we can
Reduce the CSS files to few.
so through the code.
No. HTML developer will do that.
Uh,
Front end developer will do that. See, that's why your front end developer, a person who is building your website, should know the do's and don'ts,
so
the
in
performance
WordPress
optimization
means,
practices. WordPress developers also, see, WordPress which you are downloading and using, the themes are also built by some front end developer. These people should follow the best practices in writing the front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Right? So you purchase the themes only from people who are designing it best.
yeah.
Correct? You purchase the products only who are stitching it well. Like let's say you will prefer to buy it from Allen's only always, or maybe from Raymond's, or maybe from Van Hussein. I don't know. Maybe you would like their stitching or their way of stitching the cloth or cloth quality, something like that. Same with themes. When it comes to themes, understand these aspects of the themes. How quickly, how well they are built. I mean, following all these performance practices. They have to follow the best practices. Okay. So this one we will study it in the Google Page Speed Insights more detail, because here it is just showing LCP, it's not showing FCP. So CLS, cumulative layout shift, how much the page UI shift during page loading. So cumulative layout shift is, so there should not be a drastic loading components or drastic shifting kind of experience. I'll show this on GTMetrix. Just interaction to next point, how long it takes the page to respond to user interactions. You will click some button, next page, click here, read more, and it takes so much time. So that is interaction to next point. Or on the same page you are interacting with some component, clicking on load image, but it's taking a lot of time. Okay, we will discuss this better on GTmetrix. Here it is just showing few whatever is the issue here, it shows only those, but on GTmetrix it gives you a lot many. GTmetrix. So GTmetrix is another tool like tools.pingdom. Okay, so compulsorily you have to use all of these tools to understand what's happening with your website. Okay, let's test this URL. Do we have to log in? I guess. Not sure. We'll see. GTmetrix will help you to understand the issues with your website's performance, and it suggests do something, do different set of things to improve the performance. Something like tools.pingdom only, but this is a different tool, gives you a different set of details. So tools.pingdom.com helped us to reduce the number of requests, reduce the load times. Here, this will also help us to understand a lot of things. Sure. Go wash your face while coming with the water also. Thanks. No, I'm not receiving that email. Verification. So these tools are all very important, and the data that you see on these tools, understanding the data is also super important, right? See, this is where most of the SEO professionals lack. If you could crack this, you'll be able to achieve everything in your SEO journey. Yeah. Look at this performances. Very bad. It's B. It's supposed to be A. Largest measures how long it takes for the largest content element. Example, a hero image or a heading text. I have already told this to you. Any large component on your page. So this has to be less than 1.2 seconds. If you all could read it carefully, it has to be less than 1.2 seconds. Do you all see that? For a good user experience, aim for a LCP of 1.2 seconds or less. TBT tells you how much time is blocked by the script during your page loading process. For a good user experience, aim for a TBT of 150 milliseconds. You all know how much is milliseconds? 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. And 1 second is 1 second. By the time you tell 1 second is done. That is 1 second. And now 148 milliseconds. How quickly it is, right? It's a total blocking time. TBT is total blocking time. See, people might ask these questions in the interview. What is LCP? Largest content point. FCP, first content point. TBT, total blocking time. Okay. So, anyways, this all are being written already on the document as well. And you have moreover the class recordings. Technical SEO, you have to go through all these recordings once whenever you have to attend interview or yeah. Total blocking time, and it is good. It has to be less than 150 milliseconds, and is 148 here. CLS is cumulative layout shift. It has to be 0 or less than some milliseconds, less than 1 second. Score of 0.1 for a CLS score of 0.1 or less. It's 0.05, and it can go up to 0.1, and it is 0. Cumulative layout shift indicates how much layout shift is experienced by visitors as your page loads from one section to another section on your page. If you see your website, one of your website, if any of you have websites, definitely you will see a huge cumulative layout shift issues, total blocking time issues, LCP issues. 1 second, everyone. So yeah, see, this is here you could see uh, so what is the issue? It's been explained here. First content point itself is taking 3.1 seconds. First content point is on the page. The first component could be maybe logo. Let's assume logo. You see logo, the first right, left, top. Let's assume logo here, but it can be anything that is loading first on the web page. It is itself blocking 3.1 seconds, and it has to be less than 1 second. That has to be addressed by the developers who built this website now. Okay.
It's loading is based on the image size.
No. Anything image size, image file, or video file, or CSS file, or JavaScript file on your page, right? Or your main request itself will be redirected to some other web page. It can be anything. It can be anything. That's the first
Redirection also will be
an issue.
for inside.
Even within the website, that creates a lag. that creates a latency, and that's going to impact the performance of the websites. You should not have too many redirects within the website. So first content point is the time taken to load any first piece of information. While walking on the road, or maybe let's say you are doing something, how much time did you take to notice a error spelling in the book, in the first page of the book? So everybody must be reading the same page, but some of you will notice quickly in the first 20 seconds, some of you might notice it after 40 seconds, some of you will notice after 60 seconds. Right here, the first content full point is time taken to load any first content. It can be logo or it can be anything. But first request, that's the first request that went to the server. And how much time did it take? 3.1 seconds here. And it cannot be 3.1 seconds. It has to be in milliseconds. This is an issue. So on load time to load the complete web page 4.3, largest content point again 4.6, time to interactive elements 4.8, all are an issue, and total time taken is 12 seconds. So here there are suggestions. Reduce initial server response time. See, server response time itself is very high. Keep the server response time for main document short because all other requests depend on it. Learn how to improve this. Time spent is 2.9 seconds. Oh, it's taking me to a different page. They are suggesting. Okay, this is all are purely technical, but you don't get into all of them. Just understand what is an issue on your website. So this red color has high priority, mid high priority. Avoid an excessive DOM size. A large DOM will increase memory usage, cause longer style calculations, and produce costly layout reflows. Total DOM elements 3129. Maximum DOM depth 25. Value 18. Maximum child elements. The document object model is a programming interface for web documents. Programming interface for web documents. See, like you will be using the tags like different tags, breaks, the elements, ID is different in the HTML practices. Front end, none of us here know front end development. None of us know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. See, in this programming, there are some best practices. So when they bring in a lot of these DOM elements, like you must have seen scrolling on the web page, even the scrolling will increase the DOM elements. This DOM elements is document object model. The full form of it is document object model. Is a programming interface for web documents. Programming interface for web documents, basically it represents the page so that programs can change the document structure, style, and content. See, this DOM elements are originating or coming in whenever you have to change the document structure. Document structure is, so now you have a regular content on the web page, and now you will implement suddenly, let's say, flipping, something flipping, like this card is flipping. Now the DOM elements will increase, or this will keep scrolling. You must have seen, right? Images keep scrolling on the website. Sliding, not scrolling. So something like that also would increase the DOM elements on your web page. So they are suggesting follow the best practices, understand what is going to bring in more DOM elements, and try to reduce such kinds of structures or coding practices on your web pages. Right?
In case if we are going with any new website, means we can check with the WordPress theme, which is a better lightweight website. You
Yes.
refer one of the
Flagsome. Correct.
so we can go with that. Like
Correct. We can check the themes and we can go with those themes. Right? And
so
if somebody is building a website for you, you have hired a website developer, not WordPress, a custom website developer, you have to instruct them first, understand the best practices, and develop the website. You cannot do it just like that. Make sure that while building itself, these are all to their best.
Okay. So we need to consider this and that.
Yes. Yes. So mainly, what is that you have to pay attention to is the largest content point, the first content point, and time blocking, total blocking time. You have to understand what are this and how they can be improvised. Not even understand, you understand in the sense just understand if that is as per the standards or not. It is suggested to have less than 1.2 seconds. Now LCP, largest content point, has to be less than 1.2 seconds, or it has to be in milliseconds, but here it is 4.6 seconds, which is very bad. So your success will get delayed if you have all these issues. If all these are fixed, the results what you see next year, you will be seeing it this year only. You are preponing your success. If you can take care of all this, you are preponing your success, right? See, total full load time is 12.8 seconds, which is very high. It's unacceptable. It has to be as low as 2 seconds. Okay. So there is one more tool, Google Page, sorry, Google Page Speed Insights. This is from Google. Google Page Speed Insights is from Google. So more or less what we have seen already on these two tools, it again provides the same thing. A lot of them will be same, and additionally it gives you some more information. Okay, we'll see just that additional components or things, and if you're understanding it, our technical SEO part is almost done. Understanding these issues is a major part in SEO. Which tools to be used and how do we understand, and telling the developers to fix them is what is needed, what is super important. See here again same thing, largest content point 4.6 seconds, interaction to next point 281 milliseconds. It is not really bad, or it is bad. Cumulative layout shift, first content point, first input delay, time to first byte, total blocking time and time to first byte are the same. Still it is loading, diagnose performance issues. So now you just have to understand, tell them, I want everything to be in the green. Core web vitals assessment failed. You see that? Your core, these are called as core web vitals. If you're not good at this is a blocker for your success. This is blocker for your efficient crawling of your website. This is blocker for users experience. This is blocker for performance of your website. See, this website had everything very bad. This particular website, this at least this website which we are checking has in the border comparatively better. And coming to this website, it was very worse, and it was not at all ranking on the Google. The moment we fixed it all, it started showing up on the Google in the top. The moment we fixed it all, it started showing. It did not take much time. In just 2 months, things got changed. The business got changed. The amount of revenue it is driving from Google search engine got changed. This is a training company, right? So best coding practices are super important. See, they had a problem in rendering this information or content to the front end. It was getting into an infinite loop. It's used to read all the data or information sitting in the database, and it was wasting so much time over there. And in Search Console yesterday we were reading, what is that? Crawl time. Mm. Time taken to download the data. It was in milliseconds, and that was nearly some 3000, 5000 milliseconds, which should be less than 500 milliseconds, and 5000 milliseconds, that it was that high. And after fixing all of them, it started ranking on Google. Until then, it was completely blocking. It was a complete blocker. Okay. So here on this page speed insights test, you have desktop and mobile. Mobile, see, for some businesses, mobile traffic will be very high. For example, for anything that all our age groups browse, like maybe non-professionals, mostly. So for example, let's assume it's related to trainings. There are good chances that people will browse from laptops, correct? There could be same amount of traffic coming from laptops and mobile phones. If it is related to movies, quite difficult for us to understand all of this. We may have to spend a lot of time. So best thing is, tell your developer boss, I don't know what you do. Make sure that all these are to their best. I want it to see 100 out of 100. Avoid depreciated